Hello everyone, my name is Andrina Magali Oliveros Martinez. I am from Universidad Central de Venezuela. I'm doing a Master's of English as a Foreign Language, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how language varies according to age. The title of this research work is called Knowledge and Use of Acronyms, a Sociolinguistics Age Variation Approach. First of all, I'm going to be giving you a little introduction, then I'm going to indicate the problem, the theoretical framework, the method, the results, the conclusions, and the references. Sociolinguistics is the study of how the language varies according to region. Not only region to region, I mean, in sociolinguistics, there are many variations of the language. There's many reasons why language changes. For example, yes, we can talk about geographical areas, we can talk about culture, we can talk about ideologies, we can talk about ethnics, we can talk about gender, identity. And the purpose of this research is to talk about how language varies within time according to age variations. Now, the discipline of this research that I'm going to be explaining to you about is variationist sociolinguistics, which is the field of study that refers to all of these variations that I just mentioned. The domain is linguistic variable. In this particular research, the way we're going to be demonstrating how age varies, or how the language varies according to age, we're going to be working with acronym vocabulary. Acronyms are initials of words pronounced into only one word, commonly used in written, but nowadays used in spoken English. With a lot great demand. Now, acronym vocabulary has always been used. For example, let's check out these two words, AIDS, NASA. I mean, these are initials that are put together and they spell just one word. Now, acronyms does the same, and right now, many of the acronyms that were used in written language are being used in spoken language as well. In the theoretical framework, we've got authors like Holmes, Bailey and Lucas, Romaine, and they're all going to be sharing particular quotes that are useful in order to understand how language varies according to age. For example, Holmes, 2013, Holmes says that when a linguistic change is spreading, there will be a regular increase or decrease in the use of linguistic forms over time. Bailey and Lucas, 2007, say that age may be simply a social category. Teenagers use slang which will not be used when they're adults. And Romaine, 2000, says that the possibility for change are potentially enormous considering how much exposure people get to speech through mass media and internet. Now, let's understand that here these authors are saying the same but in different ways. For example, Bailey and Lucas say that not always, when teenagers start using a different kind of wordings, that doesn't necessarily always mean that they're subject to a language change. It could just be that they're trying to be different. They're trying to identify themselves, but it doesn't necessarily mean that there's a change in language. Whilst Holmes says that when there is a change in language, that there is a spread. There's a widely spread, and it increases, it decreases the use, but it's over a period of time. It just doesn't happen just then and there. It's over a period of time that this happens. Now, Romaine, on the other hand, Romaine indicates that right now, nowadays, there are lots of possibilities of changes because people are every day exposed to mass media and internet. There were 3 research articles that were used in order to obtain information about acronyms vocabulary, in order to obtain information about recent changes in language, and in order to obtain information about how this is affecting language currently. The first of the 3 research articles is called Evolution of English in Internet Age. This was written by Abdu and Rashmad in 2018, and the purpose of this study actually is demonstrating that spoken and written English have been changed due to applications, due to apps, like, for example, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I mean, people have been changing in language. And in this article, they're indicating that people should be aware of these kind of changes because one way or the other, the oral and written discourse is turning from formal to informal. So it's actually a very interesting reading that I do recommend a lot. Then the other one is called OMG, WTF Are These Acronyms? It's actually a paper, a very interesting paper that was written as cognitive linguistic analysis as metokims in English and Hungarian. Metokims are, like, for example, when you use different words to explain something. Like, let's say that you're in a restaurant and you want to talk about the food that you're ordering. So you might order that as a dish or a plate, but a dish has a different meaning. It's where the food is placed. But yet, a dish or plate can also be used to indicate what you're requesting. So this is what the author is talking about, and he's actually indicating that, or he's hypothesizing that acronyms today are being used as metokims. Then the last research paper that was read is titled The Main Factors Underlying English and Language Changing and Real-World Effects. This is by Goncalves and Chicango, 2022. And again, the purpose of this study was to indicate all the factors that lead to language changes. So if you want to know a little bit more about all of the reasons why language changes, this is actually a very good article that I recommend. The methodology that was used in the research paper that I was working on about variations of age is quantitative, and the population are 5 English as foreign language teachers of different age groups ranging from 20 years old up until 60 years old, and they all work in the same school. The instruments that were used to collect the data is a checklist survey, and the procedures. It was very simple. First of all, it was necessary to identify all the vocabulary, the acronyms vocabulary that is commonly used today. And once that was done, a checklist survey was made and given to these teachers so that they can indicate if they know the word, if they know the meaning of that acronym, and if they actually use it in spoken language. The results of the survey indicated that the first age group, that was the first age group ranging from ages 20 to 40, have a lot of knowledge of the meaning of acronyms. Now, the second finding was in terms of the use, and in this case, it was actually surprising to know that age groups ranging from 30 to 40 years of age are the ones that not only know about acronym vocabulary, but they also put it in use. So it means that they constantly speak with acronym vocabulary. Now, the third finding was that age groups from 40 to 60 know very little about acronym vocabulary, and they absolutely don't use this type of vocabulary in spoken English. After all of these results, we came to the following conclusions. First of all, that the knowledge and the use of acronym vocabulary in spoken English is very common between the age groups of 20 to 40-year-old people within the teachers of English as a foreign language that work in Nuestra Señora de Lourdes School. The second conclusion that came was that age groups, people in age groups of 30 to 40 years of age, use acronym vocabulary more oftenly in spoken English. Now, I must correct myself because we're not really talking about people, we're talking about the teachers, the 5 teachers that went under this research paper. Were under the investigation. There are only 5 teachers of English as a foreign language that all together work at a school. The third conclusion was that definitely it's necessary for the teachers of English as a foreign language that work at Nuestra Señora de Lourdes School and that are above ages 40 up until 60. It was concluded that it's necessary for them to understand that age varies within time and age, and it's a need and a must to be updated in order to have better communications with children and students, teenagers. In this slide, you can see all the references that were used. Thank you very much for listening to this presentation, and I hope that you have been able to see from this research paper how English language can change and vary depending on terms of age factors. Now, in this school where we did this research, it was just a great opportunity because it was just a coincidence that they had English teachers ranging from ages 20 all the way to 60. So it was a very good opportunity to identify and verify how language changes according to age. Thank you. Leave your comments below, and I'll see you next time.